listen close. This is your brain on skills, listen close. And how we represent the real, listen close. This is your brain on skills, listen close. And how we represent the real. Yeah. Definitely represent the kind, the vibe.
All right, so Gervonta Davis fans are in absolute suicide mode right now. A lot of them are crying, giving excuses, saying that Gervonta Davis, the reason why he lost was because Calvin Ford was not in his corner, and that was like his dad, and, you know, Gervonta Davis, he just wasn't concentrated, he didn't prepare well, and all this garbage. And the result is that Gervonta Davis tied a fight that was literally given to him. Okay, they should have given point deduction when Gervonta Davis put that knee on the canvas. That should have been a point deduction, and they saved his ass in the fight. So he got very lucky, in my opinion, not to get a loss in his record. Okay, and they clearly benefited Gervonta Davis, and they didn't want Lamont Roach to win that fight. And one of the reasons behind, because I believe that when your undefeated record goes away in this day and age where everybody believes in undefeated records, which is stupid because everybody's going to lose. If everybody fights each other, they're going to lose. Just look at the golden era of boxing. Boxers back in the 50s or 60s or 40s, they had 20 losses in 125 fights in average, and many of them lost against great opposition too, and some not. And some of them lost against boxers who were not really known at that time, but styles make fights. And now the Gervonta Davis fans are trying to look for an excuse, trying to justify why he tied against Lamont Roach. But, you know, it's just crybaby shit. Now, obviously, and it's interesting because I always thought that Gervonta Davis was a fraud. And one of the reasons why is because Gervonta Davis could have fought Gary Russell Jr. I think that would have been an excellent fight at the time. Gary Russell Jr. was willing to go up and fight against Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis could have fought Tevin Farmer. He could have fought Vasily Lomachenko in 130 pounds as well. And Vasily Lomachenko was calling him up and down like Tevin Farmer. And Tevin Farmer has shown, for example, that he's the type of boxer that he's willing to take any of the fights, even with the losses that he has in his record. But he is a boxer who is not afraid of taking a challenge. And Vasily Lomachenko kind of changed a little bit in 135 pounds, but when he was in 130 pounds, he was willing to take on all the fighters there as well. And also, Gervonta Davis ducked Devin Haney. That was another fight he could have made. Devin Haney was crazy to fight him, and he was actually waiting in that division to fight against Gervonta Davis, but Gervonta Davis never wanted to activate his mandatory for the WBA because he didn't like Devin Haney's style, and they made every excuse in the book to not make that fight. And even Gervonta Davis fighting against Mario Barrios, giving him a rehydration clause, or against Ryan Garcia, who he gave another rehydration clause. These are moves that only Canelo Alvarez does. That's some Canelo Alvarez garbage, okay? And for me, Gervonta Davis is Canelo Alvarez, but in lightweight. That's who he is. He's a Canelo Alvarez in lightweight. He also ducked Shakur Stevenson. He has nothing to do with Shakur Stevenson, saying he doesn't sell, he will knock him out. Okay. Keyshawn Davis was a way better fight, in my opinion, than Lamont Roach. Still didn't want to take the fight. So, what does this show you about Gervonta Davis? That he is just a balloon. That's what he is. Full of air. I'm not saying he's not a technical boxer, and I'm not saying that all those boxers that I name would have beat him, but what I'm saying is that if he doesn't fight any real challengers or any real fighters, because styles make fights, then we'll never really know who he really was in the sport of boxing. And he didn't take the challenges that he should have, and he ducked a lot of boxers. Devin Haney, for example, is the type of boxer who's willingly and constantly taking the best fights. Whether you like him or not, he takes the best fights. Okay. Shakur Stevenson is, here and there. I think Shakur Stevenson could have fought Devin Haney, but that's a different story. But Shakur Stevenson wanted to fight against Gervonta Davis, and so did Tevin Farmer, and so did Vasyl Lomachenko in 130 pounds. But now Gervonta Davis is looking for the easy way out. He's trying to weasel himself out, trying to fight Vasyl Lomachenko right now at 135 pounds, which is a boxer who hasn't risked anything since he lost against Devin Haney. I feel like fighting against George Kambosos Jr. doesn't prove anything for Vasyl Lomachenko, but he wants to fight him now, but he want to fight him in 130 pounds because he sees a weakness. Once again, he's like a Canelo Alvarez. So Gervonta Davis right now, I think that he should take that rematch against Lamont Roach immediately. They do have a rematch clause, so they better exercise it right away. Oh, he's going to look really bad. I heard that he doesn't want to do it immediately. He wants to wait till next year. I think that will be a huge mistake. I think he needs to take that Lamont Roach immediately, but don't be surprised if Lamont Roach actually gets better in the next fight and more confident, because at the end of the day, Gervonta Davis, even though he is a technical boxer, a counter puncher, he's not a Floyd Mayweather Jr. or Ronaldo Ward. He does have defensive flaws. Okay, he does hit a lot for a boxer who a lot of people say that has a great defense. No, he does get hit a lot. The only difference is that he relies on his power to destroy his opponents. But if you look at a lot of his fights, when he hasn't been able to knock out the opponent, he's been losing rounds. Like, okay, one thing is to fight against Pitbull Cruz, who is a one-dimensional boxer. But now that you fight Lamont Roach and you can't knock him out, Lamont Roach is countering you all day and you're looking bad out there. Okay? And people were talking trash about Lamont Roach. Well, now he gets his respect. And I'm glad he does, because he deserves it. I mean, he's a boxer who's been trying to fight against Oshaki Foster, against Navarrete, who doesn't want to fight him. But I think that, they should have given him the fight against Gervonta Davis. But now he's going to have to take that rematch. And Gervonta Davis needs to take that rematch, or he's going to look like an absolute puss. No question, no doubt. So, to me, Gervonta Davis has always been a fraud. He names himself as one of the best boxers ever. But to me, the amount of ducking that he's done, that's not of a real champion. That is of a real puss. And to me, this fight, I'm not surprised at all at this fight. If you analyze anything about Lamont Roach and you've seen his fights, nobody's ever put him down, and Gervonta Davis couldn't do it either. And that spells trouble for any boxer who can box, who he can't put down, right? If he can't knock him out, he can lose the fight for sure. And those styles like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson will only prove what I already knew, that Gervonta Davis cannot beat any boxer who has a good jab and knows how to clinch and make it a boxing fight. So, yeah, Gervonta Davis is a fraud, and hopefully he gets out of boxing just like Teofimo and Navarrete and other boxers too, who are also frauds as well, who are not taking the challenges that they should. All right, give us a like, subscribe, become part of our community here in Golden Era, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.